Good evening and welcome to Sister to Sister Can We Talk. Once again, I'm your host Silk and we are excited to be here this evening. Let me introduce everyone to you. My special guest, author Tracy McLean, and we're going to hear all about her book and her production company. My girl Dee from EBAM and my bestie, the Reverend Dr. Marquita Carmichael Burton from Antioch Baptist Church. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
And author Tracy McLean. Proper spelling. Hey. Tracey. Okay, love it. So we're going to jump into this topic, and I just want to get serious for a minute. I want to dedicate this evening's show to Miss Lenore Hayes and my niece Latoya Hayes. My niece lost her grandmother a day ago, and so we're going through a mourning process, and I want her to know that I love her. We all care about you. We miss you. And it's going to be all right. And that leads me into the topic of this show. And one of the things that I thought about, Reverend Burton and I were talking, and we was talking about holiday blues. We know that Thanksgiving is coming up. We know Tracy was sharing off camera that even a good friend of hers just had a loss in the family. But there's all kind of losses that's been going on as far as not even a death, the loss of a relationship. Deaths of relationships have happened, death of losing your job and transitioning on. So I wrote something that I wanted to read, and then I kind of wanted to get some input from you ladies. So of course, you know, I'm still playing with these glasses because contacts just don't work for me. Okay. So in talking about holiday blues, ladies, I said for some people, this is the time of year where things are supposed to be merry and bright, but more people than not experience holiday blues. So when I start with that, Tracy, have you ever went through the holiday blues?
Absolutely. When it's not enough to actually what you think your kids, well, let me back up a little bit. For the holiday blues, you have certain things traditions that you do on a regular basis. And when you do that, at the end of the day, your kids look for the same thing every year. Right. And when you can't give them that turkey and that gravy, oh my God, it sounds good. But I mean, you know, I went through it because I didn't have it to give to my kids. And it was like devastating. It was really devastating.
I've been there. Dee, what about you?
Definitely experienced it. I think when you're not in a position where you have time or you don't have the means to spend time with family like you usually do, sometimes it can be a bit blue. And like she said, the traditions, you know, it's definitely the traditions. Most of the time, that's when family does have time to get together and come together.
Reverend Burton, I know because of the line that you work in, especially this time of year, I find that our elderly and single definitely go through that. The suicide rate is always at an all-time high, depression at an all-time high. Talk to us about holiday blues.
Okay. So one of the things when Silk and I were talking about holiday blues, again, we do need to be mindful of it. We need to keep track of ourselves and our own mental and emotional health, especially during these times. When we have a death in the family, even if it's a year ago, 2 years ago, it still comes back up because you remember that person at the holiday, and there's always an empty place, right? There's always an empty place at the table. And so we have to figure out ways of being able to stay connected to other people, to larger bodies, to our friends, to make sure that we're being present. And if you don't see somebody, you don't hear from someone, as their friend, you need to call them. You need to check in with them, especially if you know that they're going through some things.
And you raised a valid point. And one of the things that I wanted to remind everybody, if you have a question or a comment, give us a call at 915-5202. Sister to Sister, Can We Talk? But one of the things that I wanted to raise is that, number one, no one on this stage is professing to be a licensed psychologist or doctor or anything of that nature, but we are women who have been through some stuff, right? All right. Yes, yeah. And so sometimes we find that the best education may not be in a textbook, but just going through some stuff, because right now there's somebody out there that's viewing us that's going through some stuff. I want to talk about those holiday financial blues, because that's something that Tracy brought up, and I know that I too experience that. I mean, you find it odd, but people wait right before the holidays to start laying off, where you would think that, you know, they have a family like you have a family. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about those traditions, not taking it further than just the turkey and stuff, but not having a tree, not having anything to put up underneath a tree. Okay, I've been through that. You know, Reverend Burton always say, "Tell the truth, and shame the devil."
That's right.
Okay, I've been through there. Let's just keep it real. Where Thanksgiving might end up being franks and beans.
Right.
Okay, so I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about the overindulgence of financial, stretching your finances to the max, okay? I remember when we were kids, and again, you know, we don't say names to protect the innocent, but I remember a family member literally going bankrupt buying Christmas gifts, and then come January 1, you can't understand.
Right.
The debts are high, the bills are high, the bill collectors is calling, and half of those stuff the kids didn't even play with. So let's talk about that financial holiday blues, that overindulgence of just spend, spend, spend. What do you think, Tracy?
Well, I basically been through both ends of it. Not to have, to have. The kids do not play with everything, by no means. They break it up. By January 15th, you throw it away.
She gave it to January 15th. Okay.
I mean, honestly,
True.
they pick one good toy and it's gone.
Right.
And you know, and all the rest of them, they just put it to the side as far as for Christmas. So, you know, I just feel like we, as an adult, we stress it more than anything. I cry myself when I couldn't give them the things that I thought was necessary for them to have. And it really isn't necessary. It's a commercial game for the companies that show on Black Friday for them to make money. I mean, it's not at all for us.
You raised a valid point, and I'm going to go to D on this next one, because one of the things that me, my sister, and my niece was talking about is, let's talk about Black Friday. Now, I'm going to keep it real. I was that one that would be out there at 6 o'clock in the morning, give me my hot chocolate and my shearling coat, and I'm good to go. But now we're starting to realize that if Black Friday keeps on the way it is, it's become so commercialized that a lot of people are not even celebrating for Thanksgiving, because the Black Friday sales are starting on Thanksgiving Day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Dee, tell me what you think about that.
It's definitely commercialized. I think it just goes back to, during that holiday time, what is really the importance of your time together?
Exactly.
What are you doing with your kids during that time? If you're making a big deal about the toys and the presents or what you could or couldn't give, then they're going to reflect on that as well. A lot of times it's so crazy just with basic things that we're doing in life that we don't have that special time to spend. So when they're out of school and we're off of work, it really should be more about the quality time rather than that. And I noticed that more and more, even with the Black Friday, it's gotten so dangerous. People are killing each other over these sales and trying to get these items for their kids or family or loved ones, thinking that, you know, we don't have this is important.
Excuse me.
Rather than really being home and spending time with their family. You're going shopping, you don't know if you're coming back. It's really gotten to that point. And then also, you can't go shopping and go from store to store like you used to. People's cars are getting robbed. Time to come out the store and go into another one. So it's really not even worth the time and the effort, you know, that a lot of people are putting out there.
Dr. Burton?
One of the things that I find very interesting is when we have these conversations, we always go back and say we're losing the real meaning of the holidays. That we always say that it's about family, it's about coming together. And for Thanksgiving, we always stop and say what we're thankful for, but not who we're thankful to. For all of these things that we think we need and all the things that we have. And so when we have, as parents, as a culture, as a society, we've done it, right? Because they can, the advertisers can put out whatever they want. You don't have to go to the store. You can stay at home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, watch the ball game with your family. You can eat as much turkey or not, right? Because we've even made the event, the Thanksgiving holiday, about the food. And how much food we can put on the table. Right. Oh, we're going to have that, and then we have to one up. Oh, you're going to have, I'm going to have that. Right? So we've already expanded this thing farther into the commercial realm, doing it ourselves. instead of really just coming together and saying, this is what's important to me. So what my suggestion would be to all of us, and for anybody out there that's listening that feels that type of pressure to get the big turkey, to get like a 25, 30-pound turkey. I don't even know where they breed a 30-pound turkey. But, to
Turkey on steroids.
Exactly. And would you want to eat it? But,
Right.
if people that are feeling the pressure to perform, so to speak, during the holiday season, I would encourage you just to stop for a moment and think about what's really, really, really important. And when you do that, if you say all these games and toys are important, then go to the store. Go. But you can't send mixed messages. You can't say that, well, you can say it, but you should probably evaluate it and say that, this is what's really important, and I do that because I show you by my behavior that this is what's valuable to me.
Right.
And you raised a valid point, because I know that with our young generation, okay, and I'm going to speak about this woman that I love, Miss Hayes, okay, large family, and traditionally the family always comes together for the holiday. That was something that she instilled in her family, and up until this day, their children with their children come. And I know my mom is the same way. I know your parent. But the thing about it is that it's become to the point that you got to schedule an appointment to be with family. I mean, I don't have time for that. I can't sit down for that. Whereas in my generation, families sat down at a certain time to eat. TV went off and everybody dialogued about, something. And when you gave thanks at the Thanksgiving table, you really was giving thanks about something that mattered.
But here's the question for me. Because we had that as our experience, then why did we stop doing it? Because they didn't stop, right? Our grandparents didn't stop doing it.
Right.
We stopped.
Right.
Right? If we say that our parents showed up at the table and we were at the table, then who stopped coming to dinner?
Right.
Who stopped?
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Right. Who stopped preparing dinner?
Right.
There's some places, even in our family, it was this excitement that everybody was coming home for Thanksgiving. So we had people coming from California. Oh, when is her plane getting in? So we were excited about that. Folks coming in from Germany. When is their flight coming in? And we were excited about that. But now the family dynamics have shifted and changed, and so people are all around the country. And with the economy being what it is, everybody can't afford to get home.
Right.
So we have to create these spaces where we are, but we're the ones who have to say, this is what's important. We're turning off the television, or we're going to watch the game while we eat with the TV trays, however your household does it. But you have to be the one to set the standard. You cannot allow advertisers to set the standard for your household and for your children. You have to be the one to say, everybody's coming, we're sitting down, and this is what we're going to do. Because otherwise, what does that mean for our children? What are they going to do in their homes?
Right.
I think another thing is that a lot of times it's been attached to a person. And when those people aren't there anymore, the ones that held the family together, so to speak, then it kind of goes out of the window. Well, she's not here, and so nobody's cooking, and we're not meeting at their house.
And that goes back to the grief that
It goes back
about.
to the grief. And you raised a very valid point, because if you think about it, one of my favorite scenes in the movie Soul Food, was when Big Mama had passed on, and the little boy was in the kitchen, and he was trying to get everybody together, and stuff like, slow down, Big Mama will want you here. And it was important for everybody to get together and to cook and stuff, because those are important bonding times that family needs. And I think the other thing too is that it allows, and that scene showed me that some of the petty stuff that we hold on to, that we stop speaking to people for, that we stop sharing, that we stop calling, you kind of realize, is it that important? Is it really that important? And so I'm glad that you raised that point, Dee. That was a very valid point. Tracy, I want to come to you, and I also want to let's talk about that depression, because I've been there. So depressed that, from Thanksgiving Wednesday all the way to New Year's Tuesday, the January 2nd, I want to pull the covers over my head. I really don't want to talk. I'm crying. I'm depressed because I couldn't get this. I couldn't get everybody a gift that I wanted to get. And the one thing that my mother always said to me is, the gift of love is just the freest gift that you can give someone, because there's people out there. It was so funny today at work. A lady just